The $15,000 voice. That voice convinced someone to send $15,000. It wasn't real. July 2025. Dover, Florida. 56-year-old Sharon Brightwell answered a call that sounded exactly like her daughter. A young woman sobbing, barely able to breathe, saying there'd been a miscarriage and she was in legal trouble. 4 hours later, all $15,000 she had in savings were gone, wired to criminals who vanished the moment the money arrived. Here's how it happened, and how the same three-part machine could target someone you love using a voice you trust completely. In the next 12 minutes, I'm going to walk you through real cases from 2025, decode the technology criminals are using right now, and give you a defense drill that breaks this scam cold before you lose a single dollar. If you think you'd never fall for this, that's what every victim thought. Let's prepare for the call that could come tomorrow. The three-part machine. Seed. Recipe. Strike. I've spent 6 months analyzing 50 documented cases of AI voice cloning scams and interviewing voice security specialists. Every attack followed the same pattern experts describe as the seed, the recipe, and the strike. Once you know this machine, you can spot it fast. First, the seed. In Sharon's case, criminals found a 30-second Instagram story where her daughter chatted about planning a baby shower. Casual, public, forgettable. Think of your voice like a fingerprint. Except, unlike your fingerprint, you leave copies of it everywhere, every day, without noticing. That 30-second Instagram story? Sharon's daughter was leaving her vocal fingerprint on a glass surface for anyone to lift. Modern AI doesn't need hours of audio. It studies that one sample, how you breathe, where you pause, the melody of your accent, the emotional rhythm when you're stressed. And from that, it reconstructs your complete vocal signature. A few seconds creates a voice print, a mathematical description of how you sound across situations. Next, the recipe. This is what I call the Frankenstein flip. This isn't recording and replaying. It's DNA-level reconstruction. The AI doesn't memorize your daughter's voice. It learns the rules of how she builds sound. Then it follows those rules to generate sentences she never spoke, the way a skilled forger doesn't trace your signature. They learn the pressure, rhythm, and flourish that make it yours. Then write new checks. In Sharon's case, the clone generated a fresh, brutal line. Mom, I had a miscarriage. I need help. I traced the evolution. In 2018, this required research-grade tools and roughly 20 minutes of clean audio. By 2023, 3 seconds could be enough. In 2025, consumer tools can do it in under a second, cheaper than a coffee. Finally, the strike. I call this the surgical con. This isn't theater, it's a surgical procedure. The cloned voice is the anesthetic that puts your logic to sleep. The authority figure is the scalpel that makes the incision. The deadline is the suture closing before you can inspect the wound. And just like surgery, if you try to think it through while it's happening, you've already bled out. The tech doesn't need to be perfect, just believable for 90 seconds while panic overwhelms protocol. Random personal questions can expose delays or awkward timing, but in short, high-stress calls, the illusion often holds. The detection myth. People say, I'll hear the glitches. I tested that. I built 10 clips, 5 authentic recordings, and 5 AI clones made with tools criminals actually use. I'm not going to name them here, but they're free, require no technical skill, and take under 5 minutes to run. I sent each clip as an unlabeled audio file to 15 voice professionals, podcast editors who listen to voices for 8 hours a day, voice actors who train their ears for pitch and tone, and audio engineers who analyze waveforms for a living. I gave them one task: mark each clip as real person or AI clone. Here's what happened. Their average accuracy, 53%. Barely better than a coin flip. And that was in a calm setting with a warning that some clips were fake. In a real call, with your stress spiking, your ears are not reliable detectors. That's why we use protocol, not guesswork. The call. The phone rings. Unknown number. Sharon almost doesn't answer. She's in the middle of folding laundry, but something makes her pick up. The voice makes her chest tighten. It's her daughter. Not just sounding like her daughter. It's the specific, breathless sob her daughter makes when she's trying not to cry in public. Sharon drops the towel. "Sweetie, what's wrong?" The response, "Mom, something terrible happened. I messed up so badly." Pause point. This opening moment is engineered. Crisis in the first 5 seconds triggers a cortisol surge. Stress hormones suppress activity in the prefrontal cortex, the logic center, and amplify the amygdala where fear lives. Sharon isn't naive. Her brain is prioritizing "protect my child now" over everything, exactly as evolution designed. The authority shift. A man takes over. I'm attorney Michael Harris. Calm cadence, confident vocabulary. The tenor shifts from comfort to compliance. Pause point. This is psychological judo. The authority effect is well documented. When an official voice appears, people defer and self-censor. Sharon's role flips from soothing mom to instructed client. Questions pause. Obedience begins. The trap springs. He cites a gag order, a legal term Sharon doesn't fully understand, but that sounds official, and imposes a 1-hour deadline. Payment must be wired immediately. Sharon's hands shake as she opens her online banking on her laptop. She fumbles the password twice. When she finally gets in, she sees her savings balance: $15,438. She types the routing and account numbers he's dictating. Her fingers hover over "Confirm Transfer." Pause point. Urgency plus secrecy is the core of the trap. The time limit blocks verification. The "don't tell anyone" order isolates you from the social circuit breakers. The friend or spouse who would say, "hang up and call back." The escalation. Second call. A court official says the situation escalated. Another $10,000 is needed right now. Sharon feels sick, but she already sent $5,000. She can't stop now. Pause point. That's the sunk cost fallacy. After an initial payment, many victims pay again to finish the fix, rather than accept the first loss. Scammers build escalation in from the start, the almost moment. In that moment, Sharon almost called her husband. Her finger literally hovered over his name in her contacts. But the attorney had said not to tell anyone. She thought, if I call him and this is real, I'll violate the gag order and make it worse for my daughter. So she didn't call. That split-second decision cost her $10,000 more. Pause point. That's the isolation trap. Your instinct to verify is right. The gag order exists to kill that instinct. The collapse. The adrenaline fades. Sharon calls her daughter's saved number. Her daughter answers from home, confused. "Mom!" "What are you talking about?" "I'm fine. I'm at work." the illusion collapses. The money is gone. Self-diagnostic. If you're thinking, "I'd never fall for that," here's why even smart, cautious people do, through no fault of their own. Before we go into the brain science, ask yourself, if your son called right now, voice shaking, saying, "Dad, I'm in trouble," how many seconds would pass before your logic kicked in? 5? 10? For most people, the answer is 30 to 60 seconds, and that's all the scammer needs. The question isn't whether you'd fall for it. The question is, can you install a reflex that interrupts you in those first 10 seconds before your brain's defense systems go offline? That's what we're building next. The mystery opens. I'm going to show you a defense system that works in real life. But first, meet Mike and Jennifer. August 2025, Brooklyn. Same night, back-to-back calls. Mike's phone rings first. A perfect clone of his father's voice, panicked, saying he'd been in a car accident and needed bail money immediately. 30 seconds later, Jennifer's phone rings. A flawless recreation of her mother's voice, sobbing, claiming she'd been arrested and needed $10,000 wired within the hour. They each had less than 90 seconds to decide. We'll come back to what they did and why it worked. But first, you need to understand the diagnostic framework that made their response possible. The 5 pressure points. When I interviewed Dr. Sarah Chen, a forensic psychologist who trains security specialists, she walked me through what she calls the pressure point diagnostic. She said, "We teach agents to score incoming threats on 5 markers. If 3 light up simultaneously, it's engineered manipulation, not organic crisis." Here's what she looks for, and what legitimate emergencies don't trigger. Pressure point 1. Crisis-level fear in first 10 seconds. Scam opens at maximum panic to hijack your emotion before logic arrives. Legitimate call. Your sister calls crying, but can explain calmly when you ask, "Slow down. What happened?" Pressure point 2. Authority voice shift. Lawyer or officer takes control to suppress your questioning. Legitimate call. A doctor identifies themselves, but gives you their callback number and hospital switchboard to verify. Pressure point 3. Artificial deadline under 2 hours. Tight time limit blocks verification. Legitimate call. Your son's school needs pickup soon, but they wait on hold while you verify with the front office. Pressure point 4. Isolation demand, don't tell anyone, cuts off your support network. Legitimate call. Your mom needs help, but says, "Call your brother too. We need to figure this out together." Pressure point 5. Payment escalation. After you pay once, they raise the stakes. Legitimate emergencies have one request, not serial increases. If you spot even 3 of these pressure points in one call, hang up and verify through a known channel. This isn't about being paranoid. It's about recognizing engineered manipulation versus authentic crisis. The 60-second defense drill. Here's the defense system that breaks the scam. Structured like emergency response training, not tips to remember. This is a rehearsed reflex you can execute while panicking. Act 1. The immediate reflex, 75 seconds. Step 1. The interrupt script. I developed this script with behavioral psychologists who design crisis response protocols. It's 19 words. I want you to repeat it after me twice right now, then write it on a sticky note for your phone. I need to verify this is really you before I can help. I'm going to call you back on your saved number in 2 minutes. Stay safe. Notice what this does. It doesn't accuse. It doesn't anger a real loved one in crisis. It buys you 120 seconds of clear-headed time. and it sounds like something a caring person would say, which disarms the scammer's script. Then, hang up. Don't debate. Don't negotiate. Hang up. Step 2. The verification chain. Here's the chain you drill. First, call the person's primary saved contact. Manually dial. Never redial the incoming number because caller ID can be spoofed. If no answer within 60 seconds, call one shared contact. A spouse, parent, sibling, anyone in the family's inner circle. If you reach no one, text 3 people in the chain. Emergency verification. Has name contacted you in the last hour? This takes 90 seconds a maximum. I timed it. That's your emergency response. Now let's install the systems that prevent the emergency from even starting. Act 2. The long game defense. 90 seconds. Step 3. Verification question system. Forget safe word. That's movie speak, and movies fail in real life. Use a verification question instead. Something only your family member knows the answer to. But that doesn't sound like a test. Example. Hey, what was the name of that restaurant we went to last Christmas? Or, quick, what's the nickname Dad always calls the dog? Why this works? If they answer instantly and correctly, it's them. If there's hesitation, robotic response, or deflection like, Mom, I don't have time for this, you hang up. Real family members, even in crisis, can pull basic memory. Clones cannot. Here's what victims told me after they lost money. I thought about asking a personal question, but I didn't want to seem like I didn't believe them. What if it was really my son, and I made him feel like I doubted him during the worst moment of his life? That guilt, that fear of being the parent who didn't believe, is what scammers count on. So let me reframe it. Asking a verification question isn't doubt. It's protection. You're not testing your son. You're testing the call. Your real son will understand. A scammer can't. Implementation. Tonight, write down 3 family-specific questions on a card and put it by your phone. Rotate them monthly. Done. Step 4. The 24-hour money rule. No wires, cash pickups, gift cards, or crypto inside 24 hours of any urgent call. Real hospitals coordinate with insurance and bill later. Real attorneys provide bar numbers and verifiable office lines. Real police do not ask for wires to personal accounts. Legitimate authorities expect you to verify. Step 5. Digital hygiene tonight. 3 actions to do tonight. Switch voicemail to carrier default so you're not donating a perfect voice sample. Lock down social posts to friends only and disable video downloads. Enable silence unknown callers. So unknown numbers go to voicemail for elders. Set a trusted intermediary rule. They must call you or a designated relative before sending money to anyone. No exceptions. Conclusion. Remember Mike and Jennifer from Brooklyn? Here's what they did. Mike felt the panic rising when he heard his father's voice in distress. His heart was racing. His hands started shaking. But something kicked in. He said, "Dad, I'm calling you back on your cell to confirm." Then he hung up. 30 seconds later, Jennifer did the same with her mother's call. "Mom, I need to verify this. I'm calling your phone right now." They both manually dialed the real numbers. Mike's father answered from his living room, watching TV, completely safe. Jennifer's mother picked up from her book club meeting, confused. Total time from initial call to verification, 90 seconds. Total money lost, 0. That's not luck. That's a rehearsed reflex. And starting tonight, it's yours. Remember the machine, the seed they steal from social media, the recipe they build to generate any sentence, and the surgical con they stage to force a snap decision. Remember the 5 pressure points: crisis level fear, authority shift, artificial deadline, isolation demand, payment escalation. 3 or more? Hang up and verify. Your defense is protocol over panic. Tonight, write your interrupt script on a sticky note. Create 3 verification questions. Change your voicemail. Share this with the people you love. Think about it. 1 cloned voice, 1 moment of panic. That's all it takes. But 1 breath, 1 question, 1 callback. That's all it takes to stop it. The safe call protocol isn't about suspicion. It's about defending connection. Real love doesn't rush. It verifies. Voice scams are only phase 1. The next wave will look like your loved ones. Deepfakes, fake video calls, entire digital identities. Subscribe to Scam Beast, your digital neighborhood watch for the AI age. 1 share equals 1 family protected.